Hi, this is Luke for Production Expert, and this is a whole mix done using the new version 7 audio plugins from McDSP. Now this is a minimal mix using just what's necessary, so although I'm only using a handful of plugins, for everything else McDSP certainly has you covered. So first up we have the kick. Now this is a sample replacement as it happens, the mic wasn't really working out. So just starting off with a little bit of light compression, but the hits are fairly consistent owing to the fact that it is a sample. And we've got some EQ as well. Now there's nothing going on in the main 4 bands, so I'm using this basically just for low cuts, just to make room and to clean things up a little bit at the low end, make some room for the double bass. And so this is in context, first without and then with. On snare, I just have a little bit of cut around the middle to get rid of some harshness that I was encountering. So just some subtle shaping there, and I find that taking some mid outer snare drums like that has the effect of brightening them up as well. On the overheads, I just have some light compression, so very low ratio really, and not particularly low threshold either. And then EQ wise, just a little bit of top lift. So on bass, I just had a mix of mic and DI, and those are feeding into a bus, which I've got my processing across. Now I'm using the AE400 Active EQ on bass this time, and usually I tend to compress and then EQ, but in this case I want to apply some dynamic EQ before it hits the compressor. So I had just that one note that was jumping out, and AE400 is a great tool just for dealing with problems such as those. And that's followed by just a little bit of gentle compression courtesy of the retro compressor. And I'll just play you this soloed without and then with. So you can see it stamping down on that note. And I also have a static cut in the middle just to calm down some of the snare spill into the bass mic as well. Now the electric guitar needed very little help, but as it was a fairly clean tone, I decided to put a little bit of light compression across it just to help it sit a little bit. So first without and then with. So you can see it doing its thing just as the guitarist digs in on some of those arpeggios there. Now on vocals, I've automated the vocal fader, and then that is feeding into bus with the processing across it. And that can help when you've got a very dynamic vocal where you don't want to hit a compressor with too much level and then nothing at all. So my compressor's hitting the retro EQ, and in this case I was just using it to cut out a little bit of boxiness from some acoustic guitar, because the acoustic guitar and the vocal were actually taken at the same time down the same mic. Very old school. And I'll just move this out of the way so you can see the automation working.
Without my heart, without my soul, but I won't go, no, I won't go. I thought that you would know.
So I'm using one reverb for the entire mix that's shared across the snare drum, the tambourine and the vocal, and I was finding that this nice cathedral was doing the business for me. I did have to shorten it down a little bit, not surprising being a cathedral, and I also darkened it down a little bit as well, because this one came with tons of high frequency boost, so I just rolled that off a little bit, and in context that sounds like this. And then on the main bus, I've got good old CB202, or better known as compressor bank. You've got 3 flavors. That's just a little bit of light bus compression across the whole thing. And I've always been a fan of this. It's good because it has this nice auto release, which when it first came out was quite a rare feature. And I'm also shaving off some of the low end into that so that it's not reacting so much to the low end of the mix. And then all of that is hitting over here. Tiny bit of limiting just to catch the peaks. It's probably not doing much at all at the moment, but it's just there in case I need it. So that is doing a whole mix using the new version 7 audio plugins from McDSP. To read our full article and to find out more, head over to the Production Experts blog.